Entry-level Rolex sounds like a contradiction, and honestly, for a long time, kind of was. The brand's cheapest watches were either ignored by collectors or sitting behind glass at an authorized dealer that you'd never actually buy from. But something shifted. Rolex started doing something unusual. Bold dials, anniversary editions, discontinued colorways that turned basic steel cases into grail pieces overnight. And right now, in 2026, the entry end of the Rolex catalog is genuinely the most interesting that it's been in decades. 6 watches. Some you can still buy, some you can't. One of them retailed for $6,150 and is now trading at nearly 3 times that. Another one was discontinued and immediately became a cult object. And one, released right now in 2026, is already on a wait list. So all that said, let's get into it. Number 1, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 36 Jubilee Dial, reference number 126000. 100 years ago, Rolex invented the Oyster case, the first waterproof wristwatch case in history. In 1926, Hans Wilsdorf filed that patent and changed what a wristwatch could actually be. The brand has spent the century since building everything on that foundation. The 2026 Jubilee Dial Oyster Perpetual is what they chose to mark that milestone, and it is unlike anything in the current catalog. The dial is the story. Instead of the clean lacquer colors that the OP line is known for, this one carries a graphic Rolex monogram pattern, multicolored, high contrast, and frankly, divisive in the best possible way. It looks like something that belongs in an art direction meeting, not on a steel sports watch that's retailing at $6,750. And that tension is exactly why collectors are paying attention. The movement inside is the caliber 3230, 70 hours of power reserve, Chronergy escapement, COSC, and superlative chronometer certified. Mechanically, it's everything that the OP's always been. But the dial transforms it into something that the OP has never seen before. Already trading between $9,000 and $11,000 on the secondary market before most people have ever even seen one in person. Anniversary significance, radical design, entry-level pricing. That combination doesn't really come around very often. Number 2, the Rolex Explorer 2 Polar, reference number 16570. The 16570 in white, referred to by collectors as the Polar dial, is a neo-vintage sweet spot that the market has been consistently repricing upward. At 40 millimeters, it still wears proportionally. The red 24-hour GMT hand against the stark white dial is one of the cleanest color combinations in Rolex's catalog. The caliber 3185 or 3186 inside is properly robust and well understood by independent watchmakers. From original retail prices of $3,000 to $4,000 when new, this reference is now trading between $7,000 and $15,797 depending upon condition, service history, and whether box and papers are present. The gap between a worn daily beater and a pristine full set example is significant, which tells you that the serious collector demand is very much alive. GMT functionality, genuine heritage, and a price point below any modern GMT master, that combination makes sense. Number 3, Rolex Datejust 36 Palm Motif, reference number 126200. Rolex is not a brand known for whimsy, so when they laser engrave a tropical palm leaf pattern across a Datejust dial in deep green, people notice. The palm motif dial was introduced as part of a broader push towards what Rolex calls motif dials. Dials where the decoration is integral to the surface rather than applied. The green palm pattern on this Datejust is laser engraved directly into the dial, which means that the depth and texture of it changes with light in a way that a printed or painted version never could. Under different angles, it reads almost three-dimensional. On a 36mm case with an Oyster bracelet, it's one of those dials that stops people mid-conversation. The caliber 3235 inside, 70 hours, Chronergy escapement, superlative chronometer, is Rolex's current benchmark movement and significantly ahead of what the 126200's price point would suggest that you're getting. Secondary market has moved from retail of approximately $7,750 to a range of $7,850 to $13,995, with the spread reflecting condition and bracelet configuration. Jubilee bracelet examples tend to command a modest premium. The artistic dial trend in Rolex collecting has been building consistently since the Wimbledon meteorite dials drew serious auction attention. The palm motif is the entry point into that story. Number 4, Rolex Air-King Black Dial, reference number 126900. The Air-King is the Rolex that the watch community can't really agree on. And that disagreement is actually one of its most interesting qualities. The design is genuinely polarizing. The so-called Bloodhound cockpit dial carries oversized Arabic numerals at 3, 6, and 9, a bold green seconds hand, and the yellow Rolex crown logo. All of it derived from aviation instrument panels. It doesn't look like any other Rolex in the current catalog. And that's either its greatest strength or the thing that makes traditionalists uncomfortable, depending on who you ask. What makes it a serious consideration for entry-level buyers in 2026 is something more practical. You can actually buy it. Unlike the Submariner, the GMT Master, and most other professional Rolex references that require years of AD relationship building or a significant gray market premium, the Air-King regularly appears at retail without a waitlist. That availability is genuinely unusual for a Rolex professional model. The caliber 3230 inside runs to the same standard as the Oyster Perpetual. 70 hours, Chronergy escapement, fully certified. Secondary market sits between $8,500 and $10,000. Accessible at retail, appreciating on the secondary market, and carrying professional model status. For buyers who are frustrated with the accessibility situation across the rest of the Rolex sports lineup, the Air-King is the answer that doesn't require compromise on quality. Number 5, the Rolex Milgauss Z Blue, reference number 116400GV. There is no other Rolex with a green crystal. Not one. The Milgauss is completely alone in this. The Z Blue Milgauss, electric blue dial, orange lightning bolt seconds hand, green tinted sapphire crystal, was discontinued in 2023. What happened next followed a now familiar pattern. The moment that Rolex pulled it from production, collectors who had been on the fence made up their minds fast. Secondary market prices that were sitting reasonably close to retail have since climbed to a range of $9,210 to $20,273, with the upper end reserved for unworn examples with full documentation. Now, the Milgauss has a real story behind it. Introduced in 1956, it was built specifically for scientists and engineers working in environments with strong magnetic fields. Most notably, CERN, the European Nuclear Research Organization near Geneva. The movement was shielded with a special soft iron inner case in order to protect against magnetic interference. The lightning bolt seconds hand wasn't decorative. It was a nod to the watch's original purpose. That heritage, combined with the genuinely unique green crystal and the bold Z Blue colorway, makes this one of the most visually distinctive Rolexes ever produced. And now that it's gone from the catalog, the collector case is locked in. You're not finding this at retail anymore. But if condition and completeness are strong on a secondary market example, then the appreciation trajectory since 2023 gives you a clear picture of where this one's heading. And finally, number 6, the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 41 Mustard Yellow, reference number 124300. In October of 2020, Rolex unveiled a set of new Oyster Perpetual references in bold lacquered colors: yellow, green, blue, red, and coral red. The watch community, locked down and scrolling, lost its collective mind. The mustard yellow 41mm became the one that everyone talked about. Not because of movement innovation or technical achievement. The caliber 3230 inside is excellent, but unremarkable for this discussion, but rather because the color was simply objectively perfect on a steel Oyster case. Deep, saturated, slightly warm. It channeled the spirit of Rolex's vintage Stella dials from the 1970s, gold-cased dress watches with dial colors so vivid that they look like they belonged in a Warhol print, but in a modern 41mm sports format at $6,150. Rolex discontinued the colored OP41 series within a couple years of launch. The mustard yellow went with it. By 2022, these were trading above $15,000. By 2026, the market sits at approximately $17,406, with cleaner examples pushing beyond that. So here's the uncomfortable math. A watch that retailed at $6,150 is now trading at nearly 3 times that price, discontinued with no confirmed plans for reintroduction. The people who walked past it in 2020 because it seemed too bold have been watching that number climb for 4 years. The Stella-inspired color dial trend in Rolex collecting, driven partly by auction results for original 1970s examples that regularly reach 6 figures, shows no sign of reversing. The mustard yellow OP is the modern, accessible version of that story, and right now, it is the most explosive appreciation case in this entire list. 6 watches, 1 brand. A price range from $6,750 to nearly $18,000 on the secondary market. And every single one of them started off life as someone's entry-level Rolex decision. Here's what I want to leave you with, because I think it is the most useful thing from everything that we've covered today. The watches on this list that are doing the most interesting things in terms of value, the mustard yellow, the Milgauss Z Blue, the Jubilee Dial OP, they all share one thing. They were bought by people who trusted their own eye instead of waiting for the market to validate their taste. The mustard yellow buyers in 2020, they got laughed at on watch forums for buying a fashion-forward Rolex. Well, those same people are sitting on a near tripled investment 4 years later. The Air-King buyers got told it's too divisive. The Explorer 2 Polar buyers got told it's too niche. The Palm Motif buyers got told it's not a serious watch. Well, every one of those takes has been proven wrong consistently over time. Entry-level Rolex in 2026 is not about finding the cheapest way into the brand. It's about finding the reference that the market hasn't fully understood yet. That's always been where the real value was. And, well, if this video helped you find it, that's the whole point. Make sure to like and subscribe. We do this kind of analysis regularly on Rolex and across the whole watch market. Also, hit us up in the comments with which of these 6 you would go for, or if you already own one, tell us your story. Those are always the best conversations. We'll see you all in the next one.